Hey everyone, welcome to our live roundtable. So glad you are here. So this is our first roundtable. I'm super excited about that. We're going to dive into a topic that so many cat parents struggle with, and that's anxious cats and what happens when they stop eating. We're going to also talk about why it happens, how we unintentionally get caught up in the worry spiral, and the practical and energetic steps that help our cats feel safe enough to come back to their bowl. So, I am honored to have two special guests joining me today. We've got Julianne Hart and Melissa Sherman. Julianne is a holistic cat therapist, psychologist, author, and cat behaviorist. Now, she runs Naturally Cats and helps feline guardians understand and connect with their cats on a soul level. If her name sounds familiar, she has been a guest on the Golden Whiskers podcast. Likewise, with Melissa Sherman, she's a specialist in animal communication and holistic pet health coach from Calming Creek. Through intuitive communication and natural healing methods, Melissa helps cat parents support their feline companions emotionally, physically, and energetically while also nurturing their own well-being. Julianne and Melissa, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. It's awesome.
How does it feel being a guinea pig on the first ever Golden Whiskers Roundtable?
I love it.
Always happy to give it a go.
Yeah, I'm glad that I can always rely on you two, so appreciate it. Yeah, this is a really important topic. I know I've got a best friend who's dealing with some of this, a cat not eating the way that she wants, and it's making her anxious. I know maybe Julianne, I think you might be dealing with some of that as well. So let's start with kind of the big one here. Why do anxious cats often stop eating? And what are the most common triggers you're seeing right now? Julianne, let's start with you.
That's a great question. Why do they stop eating? Because something's going on, and I say that kind of generally as guardians, we freak out, and actually cats don't always eat all the time in the wild. And I have to keep reminding myself of that. We think that a cat needs to eat 3 or 4 meals a day or however long you feed your cats. And we have to remember sometimes they wouldn't eat that way in the wild. But essentially, they're trying to tell you something's off. With my boy Leo, he was ex-feral, so he is an anxious pussycat in general. And when it comes to food, I am heavily triggered because we had a situation a few years ago where he didn't eat and he ended up being hospitalized for 3 nights. And it was one of the most traumatic things I've gone through. So if he shows now that he's not eating, I freak out. So, it is really important for us to recognize before we delve into this topic that we are both connected. It's not just about the cat, it's also about us and our energy as well.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. And I'll, like I said, I have a friend, Lori, who's going through that with her cat Remy, and I'll give a little bit more details about that a little bit later on. And Melissa, who do you have with you?
So speaking of anxiety, it's a Chihuahua, but I have a senior Chihuahua. So just with the mental decline, it happens with cats as well, where they can start having cognitive issues. But he was crying, so live. We're live, so of course he's crying and he's getting anxious. Because guess what? The guardian. Yeah, they feed off of that.
See, great example right there.
Perfect example. Yes, this is Cooper, if I didn't say his name. So this is
Thank you, Cooper, for showing us literally that connection.
Exactly. It was live.
I love it. And if Cooper is feeling any anxiety from you, Melissa, how would you know that for one? And then what steps would you take to help with that?
So for him, and I would say that every animal is going to be different, but between cats and dogs, they're going to display it differently too. But he'll start pacing, he starts whining. Sometimes he starts just staring at the wall, and it's just, and then I get anxious because I see his spiral, and then I start to spiral. But if it's the other way around, where So this time of year is the perfect time of year to also show some examples, right? Because people haven't, mile long to-do list. They have a lot of things to do, and spending the holidays just stress a lot of people out. So they might notice different behaviors in their animals. And this is the time of year to really pay attention so you can clue in for the rest of the year. But um, my cats display it a little bit differently. They may stop eating, like Julianne was saying, or they start hiding in different spots or spending less time with me. That's something I notice too. If I'm anxious, my cat Noodle, she likes to spend time alone, away from me. So she likes to get out of my energy because it's too much for her. Where I do have another cat that when I'm anxious, she lays right on my chest. So
Mm.
there's like right there with two cats, they're so different. So it is on an individual level from my experience, but the overarching umbrella is they're going to tell you through different behaviors. So they may be different cat to cat, dog to dog.
Yeah.
But like you said, though, every cat is individual, right? So they are going to show
Yeah.
you it, like my two are very similar to yours. So Leo will run a mile, and actually that's at the time when I'm most anxious. I want to be close and connect with him and cuddle him, and he's like, oh my god, and he freezes and he runs away. Whereas baby Max, when I'm stressed, he comes to me, rubs against my leg, rolls on the floor, shows me his tummy, and won't move until I stroke his tummy, which actually instantly soothes my nervous system. So it's fascinating how each of them will show you in different ways, mum, dad, you need to sort your vibe out because like whatever it is, I'm either going to help you heal it or I'm going to show you that you need to shift it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's an awareness that we have to have as the guardian, right? That we can notice these subtle things because they are subtle. I mean, if you're not paying attention, you might miss those, one's running away and one's coming to you. But when you slow down enough just to see that, you can see what they do.
Mm.
Yeah.
Of course, I have two bonded brothers, so they're doing everything the same right now. I don't know how long that'll last. It's great. But and I know we do have some people watching live. Thank you for joining us. Just wanted to give you the opportunity. If you do have questions for Julianne and Melissa, please drop them in the chat. Julianne, I know we talked about the energy spiral. We alluded to that a little bit. Like if the cat doesn't eat, then we worry, they feel our worry, and then it kind of repeats into that cycle or that spiral. Can you walk us through what that cycle looks like from both the cat side and the human side?
I think from the human side, it just your stress levels just do this, they just compound and compact and increase and bubble up. For the cat, I mean, I speak from my experience with Leo, who's had issues with eating for years. It is his instant way to show me something's off. And it's a real, what's the word? It's almost like right in your face, because he's in the kitchen with me, running around my legs. He's purring, and I'm like, okay, buddy, I'm getting your food ready. He's hungry. He's like, Mum, come on. I put the food down. He sniffs at it, and he walks away. I'm like, buddy, like you literally just almost said to me, Mum, when's dinner going to be ready? I put it down. You have a sniff and walk away, and I'm like, okay, don't panic. So at that point, my first trigger is like, I hold my breath because I'm like, why isn't he eating? And my brain started to think of all these millions of things. And I've conditioned myself now to just be like, whoa, Brenda brain, take a minute, just take a pause and see, just wait and see. And sometimes he goes out and then he comes home and he clears his plate. Sometimes he'll sit by the window for 10, 15 minutes and then have a bit of and eat a bit later on. So sniffing at it and walking away is a bit of a sign for me. Other things for him is when he goes up to it and he's sniffing, but actually if I'm close by, I can see he's actually licking his lips and maybe drooling a bit. And that's a sign of nausea. So, our cats can't turn around and say, Mum, I feel sick, or Mum, my tummy's a bit sore. So like Melissa said, we've got to pay attention, more than just checking the litter trays and things. You've got to read the nuances of their body language, because when he's there and he's sniffing or he's licking his lips, I'm like, right, okay, tummy wise, something's not right. It's not necessarily behavioral. It's not, emotional. There's something physical there. So when you start to look for those little details, you can start to figure out what's going on. And for me, I I just keep trying to catch my breath because my nervous system goes into overdrive like super quick. And that doesn't help either of us, because when I'm preparing his food, I'm already panicking and stressing that he's not going to eat it, and I haven't even put it down for him yet. I mean, imagine if someone was in the kitchen preparing your food and you can hear them clashing and banging around and they put the food down and they're all like really stressed. You can be like, whoa, like, are you okay? You're not going to want to eat before you check on them, or you kind of step away from them. So it's just the same with our cats.
Mm. And Melissa, what advice would you give Julianne if,
Yes, please.
if she's anxious, already kind of dishing out the food? What would you advise her to do?
So it's really, I mean, Julianne, of course, has awareness, but it's that awareness, that energy that you have, that anxiety, you are putting it into the food. So now when you're carrying it over to him, there's other layers too, like what's going on with that food that you're gonna if you feel this way about the food, why would I eat it? So there's a lot about, us just being conscious about what we're doing, because everything that we're doing, we're putting that into their food. So it's almost like, how do we get our brain? We have to slow down, take a few breaths, and put that, sometimes I've had people, I give them like a 5-minute meditation. I'm big on meditation, but I'll give them like a 5-minute meditation before you start doing the food. And I do this for food transitions too, because that's a big thing with cats, is getting them on a different, you want to switch their food, whatever it is. It's sometimes challenging. And that's the thing, is sometimes the guardians are sitting there with, they're not going to eat this. They only eat this one thing. So like all those thoughts are going into the food. So just having that awareness about it, and whatever you need to do to reset your brain, so you can go in there and be like, oh my gosh, this food's so delicious. It's yummy. You're not gonna believe how amazing it is when you eat it. So it's just about reframing it for yourself. And that energy will carry over to the cat. Now the cat is more receptive and open and isn't feeling that bigness of your anxiety before you eat, even if it is something about your own day. Maybe it's not even about the cat at all, but they're going to sense that bigness of the energy and avoid the food like, I don't know what that is, but I'm not eating it.
I can't tell you how much I wish I knew both of you when I still had Mia around, because, she had kidney disease her last few years, and then arthritis issues, some other issues, and her appetite definitely decreased. And I mean, I have a camera, that I got to be able to watch her when I left. And I would check if I left to, work at a coffee shop, I would be checking to see where she was, like literally like every 60 seconds. And I guess she could probably feel that. So I wish I knew you too, but I'm taking a lot of your advice for Nico and Milo now. I do want to ask about my friend's cat, Remy. So my friend is Lori, her cat is Remy. And if this is too medical, just let me know. We don't have to kind of go through an analysis, but her cat is about 17 and a half, visibly slowing down, visibly has some weight loss. She has thyroid issues. Lori has taken her to the vet, every, few months, just to look at the values and that sort of thing. Remy, her appetite seems to be decreasing. And so she's on thyroid medicine, arthritis medicine, and now Mirataz for appetite stimulant. She's on an appetite stimulant. So there are some days though where she doesn't seem to eat that much. And Lori is anxious every single day. She's worried about Remy's not eating enough. She has a scale. The vet wanted her to weigh her on a regular basis to check her weight, because if she loses an ounce or two off an 8-pound frame, she thinks that could be, not a positive sign. So now Lori's anxious, and if Remy goes like, if she's picky with a certain type of food, then she's constantly changing food to try to find what does work. And we've even done some toppers like sardine. And Melissa, we actually, I don't know if you saw, we just made your starter recipe with the chicken breasts and the carrots and yellow squash and kale, which was great. Remy was eating that. But I know Lori's got some kind of anxiety in her life besides Remy. And just any, I know this is a lot and there are some medical issues, but anything that Lori could be doing differently to help Remy's appetite, or help Remy eat more.
Melissa, do you want to go first with as mentioned your recipe?
Each other, like, I don't know.
I've got a list of things that are going through my head, but you go first, love.
Yeah. You may remember my cat Jolie, who's kind of what started me on this path. I have a personal story about the thyroid too. So I know towards the end it does get very hard and challenging, and there's just anxiety associated with that. It's really just going back to centering yourself. What I would say to Lori is just, what is she doing for self-care for herself? And then things don't have to be perfect. It does get challenging with medications and food and appetite. And sometimes the medications cause the nausea, and then there's an appetite stimulant that helps. So there's a lot of things, there's a lot of layers. There's anxiety when medication is maybe thrown up because of the nausea. So now they're missing a dose. But it's just about taking a step back. And so the advice I'd give Lori is to just make sure she's taking care of herself, but also find the beauty in what's happening too, and not just focus on the medical decline, the issues with appetite, and just remember Remy as a whole. And Remy is perfect the way Remy is. And this is just part of life, and it's hard, but remember those other things. Remember the memories that were all great, and talk about those with Remy. And that helps our own brain get out of that, like, this is it. This is so big and this is all consuming, to this smaller thing of like, oh my gosh, remember when, a few years ago we were running around and doing this, and just doing that, whether you're there or she's alone with Remy, having those memory shares just really helps. Of course, I would say, an animal communicator could help too with retrieving some of those memories, because Remy, that's what Remy's thinking about. Remy's thinking about all the awesome things that have happened. Remy's not focusing on this thing, because this is just one thing, and it's just kind of like, this is the way it is now. Where as humans, we focus on what's wrong and how can we fix it. So like looking at Remy as a whole, and then whether that's working with somebody to kind of retrieve some of those memories. Because I know too, when I'm in an anxious state, I cannot think of one positive thing. I mean, I can get to that place where it's like doom and gloom and I can't think of anything. So sometimes just getting help from somebody like, okay, hey, these are Remy's favorite memories, that can help you get through the rest of this in a more positive, productive way that just feels good, if that makes sense. I hope that just rambled on, but
no, that's perfect. And Julianne, did you have something you wanted to add to that?
I echo every single thing Melissa said, every single thing. And I love the fact that was the go-to response, because I've got the practical things and you've talked about the emotional bit, which is so important, like so crucial. And this is going to sound sharp, and it's not meant to, they don't live forever. And I wish that they did. I really and truly wish that they did. When I went through pickle with her illnesses and her old age, it was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through. So Lori, I feel for you, love. It is a traumatic time. And like Melissa said, get help, communicator, energy support, whatever it is for the both of you. And it is really important to take a step back. We get all consumed with everything. So I hope that you're doing something to nurture yourself. A couple of things that I just made a note of. So Miritat's brilliant. Great that that's part of the medication plan. And the body is slowing down. Cats don't live past 25. Do you know what I mean? Like, there may have been a world record of some cat living to 30, but most cats, 17 and a half. That's a brilliant age. That's really, really good. The body is slowing down. So find the flow of the rhythm. Find when she has the medication and the appetite peaks, great. Get that food into her. And when it wanes a bit, just observe that. And it's not wrong. It just is, and again, that's a mental shift. And you do have to do a bit of work on that to recognize that it's not wrong, that it just is. The other thing I would say is, I'm not quite sure obviously how Lori's given medication. sometimes if you're putting medication in food, that can turn the cat off it. So when you've got to give constant medication or consistent medication, it's great if you can do it in something separate. So like I don't know what you guys would call them over there, but like we have like licky lick treats. They're like yogurt in a tube almost. It's not yogurt, but it's like a creamy thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Churros are, we have churro sticks here.
Okay, so you squidge it and it comes out like a yogurt. Is that the sort of thing you have?
It is. I mean, it's very
Icky.
Cats
Icky.
love it. It's icky. It's stinky. Cats love it. You can get them to do a lot of things with it. So that's a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So putting the medication in that. The other thing that I learned when we were trying to give Pickle medication when she was diabetic is, although cats are lactose intolerant, she would have a little bit of dairy cheese, which is like soft, malleable cheese. We put the pill in it, she'd have it straight away. So because she liked the cheese, she didn't even know she was getting meds. So she didn't get disengaged or turned off from having that. So like Melissa said, there is the massive panic that comes over you if they vomit up a dose and they've missed one or you can't get one in them. And that again just adds to the spiral. But that's not where the cat is. That's not where her energy is. She is cognizant that her body is changing because she is an elderly being. But her love, her essence, her energy is all to do with Laurie and their connection and their bond. And if I could do my time again with Pickle, I would do what Melissa said and bring more joy and more love back into the present moment, which again could be a challenge, but try to find that vibration because that's up here. Love, gratitude, it's high vibe. When you've got fear, panic and worry and doubt, it's all down here. It's really, really heavy and you don't need to add that. So shift it where you can. And then the last thing just about the food, I've also been there where I will throw everything at Leo, like, just have this flavor, try this. And he's like, Mum, like, back off. I don't want any food right now. And you try to give all these different things. It's really not helping, So again, some cats will thrive on that because they're like, ooh, something new. So like my two, Baby Max, if you give him the same meal twice, he's not going to go anywhere near it. He likes variety, different flavors, different brands. Leo, he's like, a foreign contaminant, won't eat it. So just go easy with changing foods and things. You're better off using ones that she knows and shifting the energy around it and around yourself, the food and her, versus bringing loads of different things. Great. She enjoyed Melissa's, like, brilliant that she enjoyed that. Just be mindful if she's in her body and feeling what's going on, that change as well as another layer for her to process is what I would say.
Yeah. Interesting. Like whenever Laurie leaves town, I'm the designated cat sitter and it's been a few months and this has happened, but she'll eat fine, when Laurie's out, when she's out of town. And
what does that tell you?
I don't have that. I'm not bringing that stress in there because she's not mine. I love her. She's not mine. So it's,
you don't have the fear, right?
Yeah. Don't have that fear. So,
and that fear comes from love. We've got to remember that it's because we love them so much, but working on that energy is a really crucial part of the holistic approach Melissa said about, looking at the situation in its entirety.
And it's a valid feeling too. Like don't suppress it, feel it, acknowledge it, but
shift it.
Yeah, shift it and find that bittersweet. Like it is, end of life is there's a bittersweetness to it that you just find those sweet spots still. And it can make a big difference.
Totally.
Quick final question before we say our goodbyes. I know we alluded to this a little bit, Melissa, that this time of year, we're recording this in December. It's the holidays. It could be stressful for everybody, more noise, visitors, routine changes. How does general anxiety spill over into appetite issues? Well, we kind of already alluded to that. We talked about that, but what can cat parents, let's answer this. What can cat parents do right now to prevent that, given that we've got more stress this time of year, many of us? Melissa, you want to take that, Melissa? I know this is
sure. So, I mean, a lot of behavior things will pop up this time of year with cats and dogs. But when you see certain things, and it's good to be aware of your energy before you see things. But if you're new to this, you're new to like kind of just the awareness of what you're doing and what you're projecting, just start noticing little things and slow down. I've told you before too, Scott, we've talked about it, where you can just kind of just wipe your energy, brush your energy off, shift your energy, shake, dance, do something. I mean, there's a lot of little things that you can do to kind of just shift your energy to be more present for them, to shake off the ick kind of. Again, these are all valid things. There's a lot going on. A lot of people overschedule and it is stressful. But like, how can you shift out of that? And try not to overschedule. And I said try because some people don't have a choice, right?
Yeah.
It's over everybody's intention every December, and then we're back to where we were last year. So it's just having an awareness. And I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah, it's great.
I was like, wait, what was the question again?
Perfect. We just really wanted an action step that we could take to reduce, even something simple like this.
Yeah, that really, this is a brushing technique just to kind of brush it across your body, down your arms, and just visualize that. Visualize the heaviness shifting off as you're sloughing it off your skin. And just all of those motions really can help shift your brain.
Yeah. Julianne, one favorite technique that you use on yourself to help with stressful times?
So I use something called a calm connection, which is something that I teach in my Become a Solid Cat Guardian program. And if you've been on any of my lives or in my soul space community, I'm sure you've heard me do it. So it's basically 3 deep breaths, and we'll do it. How long? Have we got a minute, Scott? Can I do it in a minute?
Yes, please do. Okay. Yes.
So everyone, close your eyes. Okay, we're going to do this in a minute. So get yourself comfortable. Close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in, all the way out. Left hand on your heart space, deep breath in, nice and slow. All the way out. And right hand on your tummy or below your belly button on your sacral space, deep breath in. All the way in as far as you can. Hold for a second. And nice and slowly out. Just allow the body to soften. Allow the breath to find its rhythm. Just breathe. Bringing your hand down together in your lap. Taking one more deep breath. And out. And opening your eyes when you're ready. Look at that. 8:01. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Instant calm.
3 or 4
sleeping.
See, I've done that in airports. I've done that in so many different places. I tell you, and the key is to have your hands on your body in some way, because it anchors you into that moment. So you don't have to, I'm not a fan of box breathing, but just those 3 deep breaths and eyes closed, if it's safe to do so, shifts everything, and it's us. It starts with us, like we said right at the beginning. This season, the stuff going on, the changes in the home, like we have the responsibility to support our animals as best we can. And everybody is doing the best they can, and that's enough. We have to remember that too.
I feel the calm. I feel a lot more at peace. So, and just in time, I guess, to wrap things up. So, Julianne, Melissa, thank you all so much for being here. Want to give you a quick moment to share where we can learn more about you, follow you either on social media or your websites. Julianne, I'll give you the floor first.
Thank you. Thank you for this, Scott, Melissa. It's been brilliant to come together with you both. Thank you, everybody that's been watching. It's been great to have you here. So you can find me on all the social medias at Naturally Cats. I'm most active on Instagram and then Facebook, and I'm also on YouTube. My website is naturallycats.co.uk. I offer chakra cleanses, communication, work with the cats and with the humans. And I've also got a free community called the Soul Space, which is where all cat lovers come together and we talk about energy and connection and the beautiful stuff about cats. So that's on my website as well. So I'd love for you to come and join us.
I love it. And thank you for the work that you're doing. Melissa, your turn.
And you can find me at commoncreek.com or on socials at Common Creek Healing. And I'm most active on Facebook and Instagram. And Substack. I have a Substack. Every Saturday I have a Substack, and it's more about the metaphysical part of animal communication. I do astrology as well for animals. So
nice.
Fun. Dabble.
Love it.
I love it.
Thank you guys so much. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. Incredible work both of you are doing. Everybody who is joining us live or watching or listening on the replay, thank you for supporting this community. I appreciate you being here and being the kind of cat parent who really wants to understand and help your cat. One more thanks to Julianne and Melissa. We will see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.